is going on, everybody? Murdagna here with a brand new video that we're doing something a little bit different. So we're not going to be doing a let's play or a series in this video. We're going to be going through some of the top 10 in my opinion quality of life mods in Rimworld. So let's get straight to it. So for number 10, the first thing we're going to cover is Map Designer. Now this is 2-in-1 because it's pretty bad without this, because you still have to re-roll or recreate your colony. But what we can do is, say you've got a specific colony idea, you want to be mountain people or you want to be people in completely flat land, we can create the terrain. So this is Map Designer, and inside of Map Designer you have mountains that you can change up. You can get all the way up to basically having completely solid. We can literally just ramp all this up. You can change the terrain of fertility up to 250% if you wanted to. I keep it on default just because fertility isn't really required in my playthroughs, as you'll see why. You can change items on the map, so you can add more ore, so we can make it completely packed with ore. Ancient danger, Jesus, I didn't know we had 16 ancient dangers, but we can have 16 ancient dangers, ruins, animals. I'm interested to see what this looks like. And river size, we'll have an enormous river. Let's just max out all these settings, other than fertility. But, there we go. So we've now actually created this. We can also make this as a default. God help me, because I don't really feel like this one's going to be a great one. But there we go. We've got the one that I used for one of my playthroughs, and also God help me. So now this is why it's not the greatest on its own. You see, we've edited and we haven't done anything. So this is where the second mod comes into play. The second mod being Map Reroll. So this actually allows us to reroll. There's also some tweaks that you can add called reroll costs, which costs resources, so it will reroll less and less resources every time that we reroll the map. But if you don't want to, and you just want to reroll the map until you've got what you want, we can click reroll map now, and this will create what we have just panned out. So let's just do another test. Before we do the test, I will actually load up this map and generate, and you will be able to see that it has in fact basically made 1,000,001 ancient dangers all around the map. There's a total of 16, so it's very, very difficult to start. You wouldn't be able to mine many resources without causing some mechanoids to come at you and savage you. But now let's go back into the editor of the Map Designer. So if you're unsure of how to do this, once you've installed it, you go into Options from the menu, Options, Mod Options, Map Designer. Now let's just go and try and tweak this. So let's do a down the middle donut shape. And then let's make it 80%, 90% of the map width. Let's have a roll of that. You can keep it here as well. So we can actually partial valley, slight ring hill, distinct ring valley. We can also push it inwards, and there you go. As you can see, it's making basically a crater in the mountain. So let's regenerate this one. So there you have it. We have a complete crater with an entrance. Now, I actually ticked an option inside of this mod in Map Designer. Make sure there is an exit so we can actually get out. And it has done exactly what we asked it to do. It's made a load of ancient dangers. So if we went over here and broke this, I will show you now. Let's just save the game so we can actually go back to this. But let's go and grab someone when they've spawned. Right, so we sent... I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing? Oh, he's throwing up from crypto sickness. So we've sent everybody off. We'll speed this up a little bit. And we have opened up one ancient danger which has no one in it. Interesting. I guess it has the crypto sleep caskets, but some of them don't have mechanoids in them. Which is interesting. This is actually kind of a way to start then. It's just a bit of RNG of rolling to try and win the lottery. Because as you can see, there's literally nothing in here. There's just animal pulses. You can get a load of colonists here. So if we went and opened this, sent him in to open the crypto sleep casket, we have a chance of friendly people, which all of these have got crypto sickness. But they also have some really good gear on them. Recon armor, auto pistols, not the greatest, but plasteel. Another one has marine armor, which is one of the best armors in the game. black armor, low shield pack, gold, and we can do the same again, and each one of these is an ancient danger. So that is the showcase of this mod, and it's really good buffer. You don't need this, but I would recommend it. And once we are happy with the map, we can just say keep this map. And now we have this map to start, the dice roller goes away, and we can just play on from what we have. Okay, so the next mod of my quality of life top 10 on number 9 is interaction bubbles. Now this is going to be a very, very short go over, but as you can see, we can see that they were chatting about practicing with pikes. So instead of having to go into this social and actually look at this every time that the colonists interact, we can actually see the interaction bubbles. Everybody's talking. Someone made a comment about making sandals. We'll see if we can see any more. Can we see any more? Nobody else going to chat? Really? Thank you for... Okay, wow. All of the crypto people are just leaving. I guess we get the gear, but it's not really the greatest if nobody wants to join us. But yeah, that is how this one works. It's very simple, but it's nice quality of life. Rather than having to go over to a menu and then read all of these, we can see it happening in real time. So that is number 9 of interaction bubbles. Okay, so moving on, I've gone into development mode and added in most, if not all, apart from the exotic and the burned carpet stuff, but we have Terraform. So Terraform Rimworld, I'm pretty sure it's called. Let's just have a double check. Terraform Rimworld. So what this allows us to do is if we go into our architecture, we now have a terraforming slot, which allows us to create anything. So we could literally recreate ocean if we wanted, and it costs wood. We can, well, I'm not too sure why that's not working. I guess it's deep water, so we have to add this to the water, which will just make it more difficult to cross. So, for example, we could have shallow moving water. We could, I guess we have to make that on dirt. So there's a fair few there is a fair few processes that you'll need to go through in order to make it a actual moving water. So what we'd have to do first is probably go into making some mud on here, and I will just show you this happening after we mine some wood, or well, I've cheated it in. Okay, so I've made in some wood, and now we can actually craft some mud areas. Oh god, this is going to take a while. I don't think she's very good at building. Hang on a second. And magically she is able to build rather quickly. So now that we've done that, we can actually go ahead and add in shallow moving water on top of that. So you can make your own moats for your castles, like digging out a trench. Of course, it is a little bit unrealistic if you are to just randomly make deep water. But that being said, it gives you more design capabilities. Let's just give everybody of these nobody sleeps, because otherwise these next demonstrations are going to take a while. We'd have to wait for a snooze. Right, so nobody now sleeps, so we should see... Let's get you prioritizing this, please. They are now making shallow water, well, shallow moving water. Then we can turn this shallow moving water into deep water, or deep ocean, I'm pretty sure. Can we make it into deep ocean? There we go, deep ocean. So let's just get her prioritizing on that. And everybody is actually incredibly powerful in terms of doing things, so let's just see what we can do. Okay, so this is taking quite a while, and she's kind of stuck. Oh, she was drafted. So we have literally made an impenetrable moat. As you can see, we cannot actually go through this because it's deep water. And as you can imagine, you can have this around a castle, and you'll have your own moat. So that is a great quality of life mod. And to remember what it's called, it is called Terraform Rimworld. So that is number 8. Right, so on number 7, we have one of my favourite mods, but it's still, we've got better ones to come, is to have wall lights. Now if we go into furniture, we have these beauties. So I will just add in some things and I will show you what I mean. Okay, so here we have for number 7, wall lights. That's literally the name of the mod. Wall lights are by far one of my favourite quality of life mods. It allows you to add, as it says on the tin, wall lights to your walls. As you have inside of furniture, you have multiple you have the wall lights, and then inside of the wall lights you can actually designate its own color, but you do have to have the research, so I will be with you in a second. So this is the research you need. I'm just gonna dev mode it, and we can actually change the color of our lights. So we can actually have, say if we wanted a vampire colony, we can change it to red lights all around it, and then we can put these in, paste the color. So if we had a lovely vampire colony, we could have red lights all over the place, or we can mix it up. It's exactly the same as you would have these lights, but I don't really like these lights. They just look like, and if I'm honest, nipples on the ground, and I wish I could have had them on the walls, but yes. Wall lights are amazing for this. So that is number 7, wall lights. Okay, so for number 6, we have another one of my favorite quality of life mods, is especially when you're running low on resources and you're just sitting around waiting purely for a bulk goods trader to come in. We have Quarry. Now, Quarry is, again, as it says on the tin, it is a quarry. So what we can do is, let's just claim this because I cheated this in. And this allows us, inside of the work, we now have the option to quarry. So what we can do is, if they've got nothing to do, which they shouldn't have anything to do, unfortunately we have claimed this, but there we go. Our workers are producing materials from this quarry. Now, sometimes they pick up steel, sometimes they pick up plasteel, sometimes they pick up anything. And also chunks arise from this. It's not the most efficient, but it is a way of getting steel when your map, say if you've gone on a flatland map and you're completely out of steel, it is a really good way of gaining some more materials for yourself, rather than just willy-nilly waiting 7 million years for a bulk good trader. This is especially good if you've got Randy Random and he's deciding to be a pain in the bum and just give you raids or exotic traders or other things like that, which only really give you jade. And the only downside to this mod is your wealth, if you are not paying too much attention to this, will skyrocket. So that is the quarry mod for number 6. So for our number 5 on the list, which is by far another one of my absolute favorites, because as much as I like the idea of going into the fertility overlay and looking at all these things, this map isn't the greatest example, right? But say we had set up a base over here. So let's say we have, and let's just use the planning tool to show what we would be doing. So here's our base. Very shit base, but a base nonetheless. In a fair amount of cases, this is, say we wanted a mountain colony where we have all of our colonists doing this, that, and the other, and blah blah, and they have this little base set up with all the bedrooms and whatever you want to have, and obviously a kill box if you're doing that. 9 times out of 10, you'll set up an area, and there will be, say, fertile soil here, fertile soil over here, and fertile soil over here. And us as people, as human beings, we have been able to till soil for hundreds of years even. So what this beautiful mod lets us do is, if we grab a growing zone right now, and we say make a growing zone, let's just pretend it's near our base. So here is our base. We make a growing zone, and of course the downfall of having this growing zone, so let's just plant rice because it's normally my usual crop. Now the usual problem of growing rice, or growth rate, sorry, it is telling me. So the growth rate is 100%. So let's just see what happens. So if we go onto our floors now, we have the ability to create tilled soil. If we drag this over, we can create our own farmland, which doubles the efficiency, which is basically the same, I'm pretty sure, as if you had it in here. But again, like I said, us as human beings have been able to produce fertile soil for hundreds and hundreds of years. Is it unbalanced? Not really, because it's only crops, and you still have to plant them. You still have to have someone who's there for it. You have to look after them. They can still catch fire. The only thing it does is make it slightly more efficient than going all the way over here. Because let's be real, if I had, say, a load of fertile soil here, and my base is over here, realistically, there's no point having that extended percentage in growth rate if I have to spend 7 hours getting there, and by the time they've got there, they'll either want to do recreation or they'll want to go and eat something. So they'll spend more time going back and forth than they would actually doing any farming. So it's just a nice mod to have. So that is number 5. For number 4, It's a little bit difficult to explain of what's happening, but this is just better pawn AI. So this will actually make them think more for themselves. Say someone is injured, they will go to the doctor bed and someone will go quickly to go and help them because they need to be healed. Because a fair few times someone has gone to bed, I've lost where the pawn is. Obviously you can click this, yes I know, but I've been doing other things on the base, and next thing you know, the pawn's died of bleeding out or malnutrition. So this just adds like a load of different factors, including like merging wood, so they will prioritize doing all of that, and then they'll finish it off before they go to the next task. That is the easiest way of explaining the whole of this Acgtung. So this is the name of it. If we go over here and go into, is it here? Yeah, Acgtung. So it'll see mental breaks for jobs and so forth. It has got a little bit of also extra balancing on top of that, but overall it's really just a quality of life mod for better pawn control. So that is number 4. For number 3, we have the all-powerful character editor. Now, I use this a little bit more than you may do, but this is incredibly handy if, say, you forgot to spawn or something, you forgot to give a character certain amounts, which comes in turn with the other mod that we have, which I'll explain in the next one. But realistically, it allows, if you wanted to edit the map a little bit yourself, rather than just using the map designer, you can do. You can add inventory, you can add everything. It's a little bit of there is a lot of cheating in this. If you've not got self-control, it is there. You can, of course, use this, then turn it off once you're happy with it, which prevents that. But overall, say you forgot to have someone with construction, which of course we have someone with max construction. But say you didn't, or say you had a trait, you wasn't paying attention to too many traits, you can always go in here, get rid of the trait. For example, I've forgotten the name of the trait. Okay, let's say we were midway through a colony that we hadn't really paid it. We thought beautiful options, but we didn't pay attention to the traits. Next thing you know, we've got our whole area filled with fire because of the fact that we haven't looked at our traits, we only looked at skills, which happens to me a fair amount. You can just say, oh, don't really want that trait anymore, let's get rid of it, and then we will add, say, creepy breathing, which is much more manageable and still a negative. Another way that this can be helpful is, say you were adding in a mod, right? Adding a mod for, say, Rimworld of Magic, which requires you to have traits for your characters, but you were still midway through a playthrough, but midway through that playthrough, you thought, oh, I would love to have had maybe necromancers as I'm a cannibalistic necromancer, or a golemancer, or some form of class from Rimworld of Magic, or any mod for that matter. You can go into here, and all of those things will either be in the inventory, or they will be in the traits, or wherever they will show up. For example, you can also go and change to any pre-made dirt mole. Bam, we're now a dirt mole. We can turn into a sanguinophage, like for example you spawned, and if you got to spawn with a sanguinophage and your entire colony depends on sanguinophage. But overall it is incredibly useful, but you have to have strong will when you're using this, at least sometimes. But again, you can actually just edit whatever you feel like, and there's no real reason. If you want to just have fun, you can have fun with this, but if you are trying to be hardcore and you've got a tendency to want to make things easier midway through, just save the game and then go to your menus and turn it off. So that is number 3. So for number 2, I completely forgot that I am not actually including Prepare Carefully, so I will put that in honorable mentions. So the next mod that is by far one of my favorites to prevent myself from getting RSI, because if we find something, hang on. Okay, so this isn't really the biggest steel mine actually. Is there any bigger ones? I think that's the only one we've got on this map, which is very unfortunate to showcase, but that being said, you can see steel, right? If you were to mine this out, you would have to go to orders, and then mine out all of it manually, right? But no, that really, eventually, after doing a lot of it, begins to, especially in my case, because I've broken my wrist a few times, causes RSI in your wrist. So I'm lazy, and I can click VeinMiner, which, again, that is the mod. It's called VeinMiner, and what it does is it will now find all of that ore and get it as mined, well, set it to mining, which It's nice when you're just looking at the map, want to find some steel, mine the steel, and then can carry on with your business, rather than going, mine the steel, okay, where's the next steel there? Where's the next steel there? Well, let's just showcase the difference. Okay, so the first one. We do know where it is, but we will play it as if we don't. So let's just do there. That's all we see. Let's actually prioritize mining. Right, prioritizing just mining, so they should go over and start mining any second now. So there we go. This is what we'd have to do. We'd have to follow it along. Right, we've seen the next vein now, so we can do this. And after this one, then we'll see there's one there and there's one there. And you're sort of starting to get the gist of it, right? So instead of that, we could also use this, but this is now a full vein. Let's just click it. Now I don't have to pay attention to where the next load is, and I can just set them off. And if I wanted to, I could come back and be like, right, that's enough steel. So much easier, and a great quality of life mod. So that is number 2. Now, for the number 1 mod that is for quality of life within Rimworld is, drum roll please, we have Designer, I'm pretty sure it's either Designer or Designator Shapes. Designator Shapes, so I was wrong completely. So, the reason why I love this mod so very, very much is in standard Rimworld, if we were to make a structure, right, and we go like this, it's just a fat structure. I mean, I don't even know if you can do that, to be fair. You have to go like this to build say a 11 by 11. We have to go 11, 11, 11, 11. I think that was 10. No, it was 11. Okay, so to build that, and my gosh, if we have to build a circle, we have to go and do some really bananas things, right? But it's just incredibly tedious to try. Let's try and make a decent circle. It's quite difficult. It's like building a circle in Minecraft. Pretty damn difficult. Maybe that's about right. But never mind. Forget that. We can go into our shapes. So when it spawns, it normally spawns up top, or sometimes here. And we have many different shapes to choose from. Some of them can be controlled via, we're on cancel. Some of them can be controlled via whatever we want, which is great. And the same here, we can do full shapes. But some of them have a central thing, so I'm not sure if that one did. No, this one is still controlled manually via where we're placing it, so let's get rid of all of this rubbish. But for a circle, especially a circle, we need to start in the center, so wherever the center is, and we can literally make a ginormous circle. A fair amount of you, if you've been watching my playthroughs, will see this sort of system where I can just drop and drag, and this is especially common in a video that I am not yet released, or I will not spoil it, so I will not tell you about that one. But there is also the fact that we can make, say if you didn't want circles, you can make an instant square room. Again, do the same again, an instant square room. And if you wanted the full to fill it out, just grab the full thing, so you can actually put in direct widths of how much you want, whether it's full, whether it's partial, and you may actually be able to do, yeah, so you can do that with circles as well. So we can do, let's do 60 high. It's going to be a really large thing, so we can literally make it exact. My god, this map is looking messy now. So let's just grab this, and we will cancel all of that, thank you. There we go. So that is by far my favourite mod in Rimworld, in terms of quality of life at least. Okay, so let's all call me an idiot in the chat. Please don't. But I just realised that I didn't have my mic on for the final honourable mentions. So here we have to go through the honourable mentions a second time. So there's a few things set up here. So the first honourable mention is ResearchPal. Now ResearchPal is an amazing little quality of life. It really helps when you have lots of mods, but even if you don't have lots of mods, say you just wanted to go towards a research, so long as you had the requirements for it originally. So, for example, what I'm saying by this is these lock signs means we don't have the high-tech research bench, so we can't click this. But we could, in fact, go into, let's just find one. Here we go. This is the example I used when I was muted. So this is 3 research processes. It will go harp, that thing, and piano. So we can actually shift click after each one, and it will research each one as and when. It is using smithing, so if we click it, then it will do number 1, and then if we shift click here, it will increase that. But that does require smithing, so that's why it's number 3. And it will take all the research that it requires to get to this, so long as you have the required research bench or multi-analyzer, or if the mod is added in something you need, then it will add that as well as a requirement. So the lock sign is there. That's why we can't just click on compact weaponry, because we would have to go out and find probably a tech print. Yeah, tech print for the compact weaponry, as well as we also need a high-tech research bench. Otherwise, we would be able to just click this. But this means that we can just say go package survival meal, then I want fire foam, coca, harp, great bow, this and that. And we'll have all of these researches going, so your researcher will never really stop, apart from obviously to sleep, recreation, and eat. The next one that comes in handy is cloth, well, it's not called cloth doormat. So the first one that we just looked at was ResearchPal, but it's ResearchPal 1.4 packaged, so, well, repackaged, which is just a rebuff of the mod that came out previously, but someone added it for 1.4. Obviously, you would kind of guarantee you guessed that. But the next one is doormats. Now, doormats is literally, as it says on the tin, doormats. So what these do, these are actually set to being on draft. So doormats is, as it says on the tin, they will walk on this, and this will make this dirty rather than the floor in here. Eventually, if these get too dirty, though, they will actually continue making dirt on, but say if you had a doormat in front of a hospital, it would stop the hospital getting dirty all the time via people walking in and out and so forth. On top of that one, on the topic of doors at least, we have one of my absolute favourites again, but didn't make it quite into the actual area, is Doors Expanded. Now, this is one of the Doors Expanded, which is a jail door, which is helpful for prisoner containment. I think it stops them opening. I haven't used this yet, but the main reason I use this mod is because, for example, if we were to make an even numbered building, so for example like 6 times 6, to get them in, we could only use one small door here, and it would look like this. And I'm a kicker for OCD in sort of designing buildings, so I really like it when it's symmetrical. And you may be different, you may not need this mod, which is why it's an honourable mention, but it just makes things look so much cleaner, because we can look at that. This is uneven as. I can't have this even. But if I was to, for example, go like this, and then make a wooden door, then I could do. So the next one is something that is also one of my favourites, but it's not completely a requirement, which is why I wasn't in the top 10, is pathfinding. It's called Clean Pathfinding. So what this does is, stop doing that, guys and ladies. Oh my. There we go. So what they'll do is, if you look closely on the pawns, they actually follow the line of the path. They prioritize going on the path, because the path actually speeds them up, as well as it stops them getting dirt on the feet from the dirt and so forth. And it's an overall just a nice clean mod, because sometimes when I was playing the original vanilla Rimworld, I'd make a nice, wonderful path, and my colonists would just say go from here to here, because it's the shortest route to get to there. Which, overall, not really that nice. The next honourable mention, which is the second to last honourable mention, but not the least, of course, is Replace Stuff. So, in normal Rimworld, you have to manually deconstruct all of the damn walls to then make them rebuild the same thing. Whereas in the Replace Stuff, it does exactly that. As you can see, we're turning it all into wood, so we're just placing over it. It still has the same problem of deconstruction costs, so it will deconstruct the steel into wood, or vice versa, or whatever material you're replacing it in. But it saves you so much effort of having to recreate the same building, especially if you put a lot of time and effort into your buildings. Having without this mod is it's really close to getting into the top 10. So, The final one, I am just skimming over these. You can go into them into more detail, or if you want more in more detail, then please let me know in the comments. But I use this a lot on top of Character Editor, which is Prepare Carefully. Now, this one is my favorite to start the colony, due to the fact of I can still randomize my colonists. I can change their genotype. But the reason why I like it so much in terms of starting a colony is you have something called point limit. Now, what this does is it balances and tells you that you're over, and it won't actually let you start because you've spent too many points. So you can customize your colonists to actually be proficient in, say, construction, then research, and so forth, your actual starting colonists that you need. Especially don't want that. But it will actually prevent you from making something, say, super overpowered. You can actually make something still stupidly overpowered, so just make everything to maximum like this. But if we went into point limit, we're now 15,000 ahead. So we'd need to reduce all that, and then we can customize however we want, up to a limit. There is, the limit also works with the items you have, so if you really wanted some really strong colonists, you could get rid of every single item in the game that you start with, which I don't know how well this would go, but you can do. So now I have 7,000 points to spend, and I can probably make a max tier colonist, but that means that starting off is going to be incredibly difficult due to the fact that I now need lots of food. So yeah, we can almost get, we can get basically 2 maximum colonists just from removing all of our resources. But that is still technically balanced there, because you'd have to find all the components. You start with no medicine, no packaged survival meals, and so forth. Nothing to really start at all. So let's just remove all those. So this is just another honorable mention. If I have missed any mods that you would have thought could have made it into the top 10, in fact, tell me what your top 10 is, or if there was any missing, then tell me there, and the mods will be in the description of the video in a collection of mods from Steam. So it'll be a link to the Steam collection for quality of life mods in Rimworld. So thank you all for watching, and again, let me know in the comments what you think is your top 10 quality of life mods for Rimworld. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you all next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.